there, and welcome to Lyss Listens, the place where real questions meet real talk, straight from the heart. I'm Alyssa, your go-to voice for soulful advice, mindset magic, and unapologetic truth. Every week, I dive into anonymous submissions from women like you navigating life, love, business, motherhood, healing, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits, and everything is met with compassion, intuition, and a whole lot of wisdom. So whether you're here for guidance, curiosity, or a little permission to feel what you feel, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's questions and see what's ready to be revealed. Hello, and welcome to our very first episode of Lyss Listens. For those of you that don't know, this is an advice column, if you will, where you can ask me your deepest, darkest questions anonymously, and I answer them here live on this series. There will be lots of things that I get asked in these because I've already had so many people submit forms for this and have asked questions. And I just want you to know that nothing is off limits here. Yes, it's very mindset and manifestation focused and based, but if you have a question that has nothing to do with anything mindset and manifestation, I still want to encourage you to ask, because just having the little piece of advice that you can get from me, Lyss, it's going to be so great. And the reason that I wanted to start this series is because I see a lot of different forums specifically for just people asking for help around motherhood and babies and all these things. And I really love going and seeing what people are asking questions about and giving my 2 cents. And it's always on the topics that aren't like, what diapers are you guys using? What is your sleep schedule? It's like, how do I keep my sanity? I feel like I'm going fucking nuts. And I love going in there and answering these questions for other people. And I do it under like a pseudonym, and I have the most fun. And so I wanted to bring this to you all, because how nice is it to be able to have a area that you can go to and ask the questions that you really want an answer to but don't really know who or what to ask, right? You can only Google so many things in a day. Trust me, I know from experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into some of these questions that I have received. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm like bursting at the seams. Okay, so this person had left a response for what is on their heart right now. And basically, what they're saying is that they feel like they're stuck in a loop whenever it comes to abundance. Their goal is to live abundant and free, but they have about $100,000 in credit card debt. And over the past year, they've been able to decrease it $43,000 by doing $6,000 a month to pay it towards their debt. And now they're kind of feeling like, yay, I did it, but also in the past 7 months, they're like, I could have had an extra $6,000 to spend on whatever I wanted to, instead of like paying off this debt that really isn't doing anything for me. And they also did include that they grew up listening and breathing and living Dave Ramsey. Can you relate? Because good morning to everybody except Dave Ramsey. He's the absolute fucking worst. In high school, my economics class, we had to watch Dave Ramsey spew his bullshit every Friday. And I just always thought, like, this is so crazy to me. Like the things that he just teaches and believes in and helps others do, like it's such lack foundationally based that it like there is no room for abundance in his teachings. But anyways, that's for a whole nother topic. And this person is essentially asking, what do I do? How can they feel more worthy of enjoying life, right? Like instead of like I have to pay off this debt. So for those of you who are new here, hi, welcome. But also, I just want you to know that I am not a financial advisor. Let me first and foremost start by saying that. But I am an abundance advisor, if you will. So, what I mean by that is I really help people start to live in abundance right here and right now. We don't do the wait until XYZ comes, because when you can embody abundance, then the abundance actually starts to come. Okay. Now, when we're talking about debt specifically, I have a very unique perspective of debt. I don't give a fuck about debt. Let's just be totally and absolutely clear here. Does that mean that I have tons of debt that I'm never gonna be able to pay back? No. Does that mean that I'm opening up credit cards left and right to be able to afford things that are financially out of my means? No. But I also believe that debt is made up, just like money is made up. The energy of money is not made up, but the money itself is made up. And if you ever are curious just to see debt in a larger perspective, go to the US debt tracker. There's a website for it, and you can just see that debt tracker just rolling on up. It never stops. It keeps growing, it keeps evolving, and it keeps getting bigger. If we're also looking at all of the one percenters of the world, right? Like the billionaires, the trillionaires, the multi-millionaires, the people who have the success that you might also be looking for, they have a lot of debt as well. Okay. They aren't debt free. And I think the whole like idea of living debt free is like, what's the like, why is that your goal to be debt free? Instead, I like to look at it as how great is it that we live in a time where we can borrow money and get to experience the things that we want to experience, right? Like I have debt, I do, but I don't prioritize paying it off because that's not a priority to me. Sure, it gets paid off. Yes, I'm chipping away at it here and there, but it's not like my sole focus. And so whenever you're feeling like you have to pay off this debt for you to be able to live, like you can't enjoy life and while you have this debt looming over you, why don't you change that perspective into showing that debt gratitude, showing that debt some grace by saying, I'm so thankful that you exist so that I've been able to do and live the things that I want to do and live. But also, I don't want you to be tied to it and make it like your sole priority to pay off, right? At the end of the day, when you die, your debt dies with you. Okay. And this is coming from someone who has experienced a lot of death. I had to deal very closely with death when I lost both of my parents and my grandmother. And because my mom was her only child, so my mom passed before her, so it was my brother and I's responsibility to, like, help her with her everything, whenever it comes to dying and passing away, and all 3 of them had debt. Guess what? The debt died with them, okay? Now, this is not me saying to treat money selfishly or to treat money disrespectfully. And what I mean by that is by opening up credit cards and spending money like you're never going to pay it off, or agreeing to something and then never paying it off and letting it go to collections or anything like that, because that is being disrespectful to money, the energy of money. That's being disrespectful to others who run businesses that allow you to borrow said money. That's not the energy that I'm talking about coming from. I'm talking about coming from an energy of absolute gratitude and showing so much thanks for the things that it is you have. Now, if I were in this person's position where I had $100,000 in credit card debt and I wanted to chip away and pay it down and get rid of it and all these things, I would honestly first, I would look at what my every month, right? Like, it's like what amount of money do I need every month to live the life I want to live? Okay. I'm breaking it down by your mortgage or your rent. If you have a car payment, your insurance, all the other amenities that you have, like streaming services and electricity and internet and whatever subscription you're paying for, whatever. I would total that all up and see what the amount is each month. And then I would look at, okay, what can I include here each month that feels good putting towards my debt, but doesn't make me feel like I'm like, slaving away to pay this debt off. Maybe it's not $6,000 a month. Maybe it's just a couple hundred a month, right? Like you're the one who decides what dollar amounts mean to you. And if you put a large weight and put this dollar amount on a pedestal, then it's going to feel really heavy every time you chip away at it or every time that you even try to save it, right? But if it's something that feels like, oh, I could do $200 a month towards this credit card debt because number one, it's going to make me feel a little bit better. And number two, it's not using so much of my extra money and overflow to not live for a living, right? There is a really beautiful balance between absolutely pissing away all of your finances and living abundantly. Okay. And number one, you have to feel safe with receiving money, spending money, and paying off money. I have a really awesome practice that I do inside of my membership where each month, in the beginning of the month, when all the bills are due, we say thank you to all of our bills. And there's like a whole practice that we do. But when you can come at money from a place of gratitude and neutrality, instead of like money is out to get you, or money is always hanging over your head, or if you don't pay this debt off, what's going to happen to you? Right? Like, what's going to happen to you if you don't pay off the debt? At least the amount, like if you were to have $100,000 come to you right now at your doorstep in the form of a large check, someone just said, you know what, I love you, you're a great person, here's $100,000. Would you honestly put that $100,000 towards your debt? And if the answer is yes, how would you feel after that debt's paid off? Would you feel accomplished? Would you feel safe? Would you feel like you just wasted money on something? Would you feel like you just received a lot of money and then have nothing to show for it? Right? Because I too have my own debt, and I guarantee you, if someone gave me a check for the amount of debt that I had, I wouldn't use it all towards the debt. I wouldn't. I would use a percentage of it towards the debt, but only here for who knows how long. I'm not guaranteed the next 5 minutes, let alone the next 50 years. So why would I sit here and think, like, if I'm on my deathbed, I'm so glad that I paid off all my debt? No. My thought when I'm on my deathbed is going to be, I'm so glad that I got to live for a living. I'm so glad that I was able to have money to experience X, Y, and Z. You know, I'm so glad that I was able to have money to build X, Y, and Z, to create X, Y, and Z, to use money as a tool to enhance my life even further. Right. And sure, you could even argue that, well, the debt that you have allowed you to live your life to a certain extent. Yes, that is true. But where are you at right now versus where you were at when you started accumulating that debt? You know? It's two different things. So, how you can live and feel more abundantly with your debt is number 1, show it some gratitude. Be so thankful that we live in a time and age where we are allowed to have debt, right? But also, it's a man-made thing, okay? It is a man-made thing. Debt does not mean anything about you. If you have it, if you don't, how much you have it, you're the only one that gives meaning to it. And this person did say in this question, quote, I have about $100,000 of credit card debt. Bad, I know. What do you mean you know? I know. Bad is relative, and you're the one who's making it seem like it's bad. I don't think it's bad that you have $100,000 in credit card debt. I could give a shit. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you have bad intentions. It doesn't mean that you are bad with money. You're the person, you're the only thing, you and Dave Ramsey, that are making it seem like it's bad to have $100,000 in credit card debt. Who fucking cares? Whenever I meet someone for the first time, I'm not thinking, I wonder what their debt is. I wonder what their credit score is. I don't give a fuck. That literally means nothing to me about you. And I guarantee you, a good percentage of people would say the same, unless you work for like a bank industry, like institution where you have to give out loans and stuff. You probably care what people's debt is. But the normal people who don't work in that job, who don't have that industry, who don't think about numbers all day long, they don't care what debt you have. It's not good or bad. It's just a tool, just like money is just a tool. And abundance and money are two separate things. Abundance is a frequency. Abundance is living in overflow. You can have an abundance of friends, an abundance of laughter, an abundance of breath, an abundance of hair on your head. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things to be abundant in. So when we're talking specifically about feeling abundantly in your finances, you get to choose how that feels. You get to create that feeling. And I promise you this, like I said before, if your goal is to be one of the top 1%ers, hell, if your goal is even to have a couple of six figures every year that you're earning and receiving, if you're someone who has zero debt and you're making a couple of six figures a year, don't think that you are any better off than the people who have trillions and billions who have substantial debt. Again, debt isn't anything serious. It's man-made. And every second that you spend stressing and riddling yourself with anxiety and heart palpitations over a number that is debt, the less time you're actually allowing yourself to receive abundance and to live an abundant life. So the first thing you got to do here is forgive yourself because I'm sure there is some resentment there. I mean, you said in the thing, bad. I know. Like no one says that's bad. You said that's bad. And the other part here is to show gratitude towards the debt. And I really want you to ask yourself, what would it feel like if I did relieve myself of all of this debt? How would I feel if I had zero debt? How would I feel if I woke up tomorrow morning and all my debt was cleared? Because if the answer is you would feel better, lighter, whatever, guess what? You can control how you feel right now. So why don't you start feeling lighter, better, whatever now before the debt gets cleared? And watch what kind of magic happens when you embody the feeling that clearing the debt would give you rather than trying to actually clear the debt itself. And let me know. Okay, if you have a question you want to submit into Lyss Listens, please click on the link below so you can too submit your form. I can't wait to hear from you and I'll be listening. Bye.